We went into this, honestly, with big ambitions. We went in this to try to transform our understanding of Mars. And that's hard to do in 90 days, but turns out if you have 10 years, you can come pretty close.
Thank you, John. Yes, my name is Ashley Stroop, and I am so honored and privileged to be here celebrating this 10th anniversary. We shouldn't be here. The rovers weren't supposed to last more than 3 months, and more, I shouldn't be here. When the rovers landed on Mars, I had only myself just landed at JPL a few weeks before. And nobody should let a newbie near flight hardware. Yet somehow 10 years later, here I am, a rover driver working with this incredible team, fulfilling a lifelong dream.
Every day, we're shocked that it's still going. Yet, as engineers, we're going to fight really hard to make sure that it just keeps going and going and going.
The most valuable thing that we've learned from these rovers lasting so long is that if something breaks, you can find, usually, something that will allow you to continue the mission even though one item on the rover has stopped working.
When they were landing, I had actually about 3 semesters left in my undergraduate career. Didn't think I'd ever be working on them because, well, they were supposed to die before I finished up my junior year. And then they just kept going and going and going.
A piece of equipment that has not been serviced by human hands in over 10 years is still working. I don't think your car works that good.
The rover recently drove over a sand dune we called Dingo Gap. This was in order to get to an area on the other side known as Moonlight Valley. This area has much gentler terrain with fewer sharp rocks. The rate of wear of the wheels has increased over the last few hundred meters. We think that's because we're in a different type of terrain, where the rocks are really especially sharp and well cemented into the ground. We're here at JPL in the Mars Yard, and we're using the Scarecrow rover, and this rover weighs on Earth what Curiosity weighs on Mars. We're driving the rover and its wheels over some man-made obstacles that resemble some of the sharpest rocks that we might see on Mars. And the wheels are made out of aluminum, and we're using these wheels and this rover and these obstacles to understand really what's going on and how these rocks can cause damage to the wheels. We're also looking at different strategies to try and minimize this and avoid some of these rocks. Now that the rover's in the Moonlight Valley, we're able to increase its drive distance each sol. Because of the terrain, it's a little more favorable for the wheels.
Now, what happened with Spirit? Spirit had a tough life. We beat on that rover really hard, and about 800 sols, 800 Martian days into the mission, this wheel right here, the right front wheel, failed. And when one of the wheels on these rovers fails, it doesn't freewheel. It doesn't just turn freely. You have to drag it. And so a rover that used to happily do 100 meters a day was now doing 5 meters a day, dragging this dead wheel through the soil. But there was a marvelous silver lining to this cloud, and that was that it dug this trench as we drove. And every so often, something terrific would pop up on the floor of this trench. We were driving one day through a little valley, and in the floor of the trench at the end of the drive, the soil popped up as white as bright snow.